Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect. This is your brother Dawadah from the Men of Valor campaign in Greenville, South Carolina, coming back with another video on sincerity and in truth. Lord willing, it can be edifying. And just want to do a quick video through the spirit, man. All right, with everything going on so far in 2026, all right, we see from a mile away how they're setting up the persecution. All right, but as of right now, all right, they ain't pulled the trigger yet. Okay, as of right now, they're they ain't necessarily taking down our videos like they were, some years back, flagging our channels and stuff. All right, but they're building the case. I best believe they're building the case, and that's why, we're commanded to have, to teach sound doctrine. All right, be on point. Okay, not only in our teachings but also in our daily walk in this truth. You don't want the ministry to be blamed for not being circumspect. All right, we're in the time of you have to walk circumspectly, not as fools but as wise, redeeming the times because the days are evil, like the scriptures say. All right, we're coming to a time to really lean on the things that we've been learning since coming into the truth. Okay, but nonetheless, all right, this devil's exposed. All right, and his skirt is being lifted. All right, and if you know anything about war, or fighting or whatever, sports, whatever, whenever there's a competition, man, all right, you don't let up on their ass, man. Okay, we not about to let up on Esau just because they putting some commercials on TV talking about some small stop tiny top hate. All right, now we use wisdom. All right, we ain't out here just calling them what they are, whatever, but nonetheless, everybody knows who we talking about. All right, they know that we're talking about them. All right, we got the Scopeo on them. All right, and they're gonna do what they can to try to build a case up against us. But this is a time where, we're showing our faith in the face of adversity. All right, we're showing Yahweh Shai Shai that while the world tries to condemn us, we're gonna stand boldly behind those names. All right, that's what the Lord wants to see amongst his watchmen, amongst his prophets, his seers, his men, his servants. All right, that fervency until they take us off the internet, until they take us off the streets, or it's not safe to go on the streets anymore. All right, we're not letting up. All right, and this scripture right here actually highlights it perfectly. This is Isaiah chapter 62 and verse 6. I have set watchmen upon thy walls, O Jerusalem. And Jerusalem is a people before it's a place. So it's speaking about the people that inhabit Jerusalem, and not Jerusalem now, but it's speaking about the Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right, it says, which shall never hold their peace day nor night. That's why when you get on YouTube, if you follow enough brothers within GMS or that teach the likewise doctrine, all right, no matter what time of day it is, there's videos going up. There's live streams going up. There's brothers that get up in the morning, they do their in transits on their way to work. You got the apostles, they be on their schedule. You'll have brothers in Hawaii, like I got home, kind of late last night, and then, hey, the brothers in Hawaii were live. You feel me? So, hey, they shall never hold their peace day nor night. All right, this is how we know that these are the men of GMS, the men that teach the likewise doctrine. We know that these are the watchmen that the Lord has set up, because these other guys aren't watching. IURC ain't worried about watching. ISUPK ain't worried about watching. HOI ain't worried about watching. Sakari not, or whatever they call themselves, Genesis, these guys, believers of the way, they not watching. Who else? One body in Yahweh Shai ain't watching. HODC ain't watching. Or I don't know if HODC even still around. I meant GOCC. These are all these different camps, that come from, most of them come from One West. All right, but, and the apostles, they acknowledge that the truth came out of One West. But nonetheless, there's a spirit that's been on the true prophets of Yahweh Shai. All right, all gas, no brakes. All right. So again, it says, I have set watchmen upon thy walls, O Jerusalem, which shall never hold their peace day nor night. Ye that make mention of the Lord, keep not silence, and give him no rest till he establish, until he make Jerusalem a praise in the earth. All right, and I love this precept right here because, hey, this is why we're doing it. All right, we're not getting, even when we do videos on women or do videos on, a guy might be going off or something, it's for edification, okay? We're giving the Lord no rest, all right? We're being defenders of the gospel so that the Lord can establish Jerusalem again on top. Again, it's a people before it's a place. Right now, the Israelites are on the bottom, okay? You see how Trump was able to go in there and just pull Maduro out, and nobody's going to do shit about it. They'll publicly condemn it, but they're not going to do shit about it. They're not going to actually try to go and help him. He already in America. Meanwhile, you got a guy like Bibi that's walking around a straight up war criminal, and he gets to walk around scot-free. That tells you who's in power and who's not, man. So we're not giving the Lord any rest until he make Jerusalem a praise in the earth. And he's about to do that. All right, with everything going on now, with them pushing forward with this crypto bill, a big, beautiful bill, a lot of it has gone into effect. All right, they're moving away from the dollar. They're setting up this MOTB system. All right, we're in some of the last prophecies that need to be fulfilled before Yahweh Bashim Yahushua establishes and makes Jerusalem a praise in the earth, right? We're at that threshold. So right now isn't the time to let off the gas. Right now is not the time to let off of the enemy, Stay on him. Stay on his ass, man. All right, we're going to keep bringing this truth out, all right, until the elect sealed, because once that said number in Revelation, the 7th chapter, speaking about 12,000 men out of each tribe of the house of Israel, 12,000 men out of each tribe, 144,000, which you're not going to be able to count them, okay? But we'll know that that number is sealed because the scriptures say that judgment is going to proceed forth after that said number is fulfilled. All right, that's why there's still normalcy in life right now, okay? Once that number is activated, then the next phase of prophecy can take forth. The famine of hearing the words of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is going to come forth. It's going to be more scarce, because we're not going to have the liberty that we've had for all these years to be out and do our videos, to go out on the highways and byways. All right, they're going to heavily censor us. But that's also going to mean that, this thing is wrapping up. You're still going to have members of the elect coming in that believe, but as far as the servants of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, that 144,000, all hell isn't going to break loose until that said number is activated, until these men come into the truth. And we can tell we're getting close, if not already there. All right, but we'll know we're there. Once they pull us off the internet, once they take us off the street, whether literally or, just as far as legislation and stuff, then we're going to keep going hard, man. The elect has to be sealed, man. We're trying to get the fuck up out of here. All right, we ain't trying to continue to build here. We're not trying to continue to thrive here. We don't see ourselves here in 10 years. All right, Lord willing, we don't see ourselves here at the end of this year, the way things are moving. But nonetheless, all right, we got to continue to do our part. All right, the Lord, he set up these watchmen. All right, we didn't choose to do this. The Lord chose us, and he gave us the spirit of fervency to be able to push this ministry out, man, because the Lord could raise up, stones. All right, he could have had anybody doing this. He allowed us to wake up and gave us the opportunity to receive salvation, to teach, to receive a prophet's reward, man. All right, we don't take that lightly. So with that, all right, don't let up. All right, we're not in the time of letting up. We're on the time of keep your foot on these devils' neck, man. All right, the shit coming out with the Epstein, how how Trump is moving with Venezuela and shit. How they're about to go to war with Iran again. The whole situation with China. We're on our watch. The average American isn't on their watch. They're caught up with how they've been trained to think. Sports, holidays, school, work, vacation. That's how they've been trained to think. They're not thinking that America will soon cease to exist. Okay? So I just wanted to bring that out through the Spirit. Lord willing, it was edifying. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Makakwadash, and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect. Till next time, Shalom.